get started, you need several things in order to be successful here. To start out, we have an apron. You need to wear an apron to avoid any spillage or anything that gets on your shirt. 2, we have goggles. Goggles is very important. We spoke of this last class about objects finding your eyes. Also, you will need a hand lens, dissecting kit, a damp paper towel. You also need your dissecting pan, and you'll find several tools inside. All right, safety. Get goggles when directed. You're going to put them on and do not take them off until directed. Respect the worm and the feelings of other students in this group. The purpose of this investigation is to observe the external and internal anatomy of the earthworm. You will also develop your skills in laboratory dissection. As I mentioned before, materials you will need: dissecting pan. In your kit, you will find scissors, you will find a ruler, you will find a probe, you will find dissecting pans outside of your lab tool. You will find a hand lens, inside an eyedropper. You will use water from the sink. And last but not least, you would need your preserved earthworm with your paper here, your lab. Moving on from the external parts of the earthworm, we're going to focus on the internal parts. This is part B, where you're ready to dissect. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to take a pin, which is one of the things you have, and make sure that the dorsal side is face up. That's terms that you will be using later. You're going to place one pin in the uppermost anterior part of the worm, which is the head. And remember I told you all, I need a obtuse angle where it's facing out. It is at the uppermost portion of the earthworm. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to place one pin a few centimeters below the clitellum. This is something that you saw in your text. This is the reproductive organ portions here, and it says a few centimeters. So you would take your ruler, measure out about 3 centimeters. So I would take it from there. This is about 3, roughly 3, and we're going to place that roughly here, either to the left or the right of the vein that you see. Next, you're going to insert the blade of the scissors. Remember, these scissors are very, very sharp. You're going to take the tip of the scissors and you're going to make a little slit, sort of like a V, and be very, very careful because earthworm is very, very thin. So if you look closely here, I created a V. And then I would proceed with the instructions here. You're going to insert the blade of the scissors below the clitellum. You will see a dark line running the length of the worm. This is the dorsal blood vessel. You're going to cut slightly to the right, or in this case, it can be slightly to the left of the blood vessel. And the instructions state, only a shallow cut is needed. Try to point the scissors at an upward angle. So when I'm cutting, I'll be cutting upward. So I'm being very careful, very cautious as I cut through the skin of the earthworm. All right, continuing, you're going to take, you should have 6 remaining pins, and you will use those pins to actually place down the skin as mentioned in class before. So using my scissors or maybe even my probe, I would find a way to get the skin open, and if there's any skin remaining, I like to take my probe. Your probe may be brown in your lab key station, and scrape very slightly and very carefully to not disrupt any organs there. So if you look closely here, I have the skin pinned down, and I would take a pin on the left side, make an obtuse angle where I have room to work. Take another pin and another probe, and I would do the same on the opposite side. So if you're not as comfortable touching it, use your tools as often as you can. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Take my probe, scrape off any excess skin until I'm able to do the same thing on the opposite side. Place the pen down. Voila. You will continue with this process until you reach this band, which is the clitellum or the reproductive organ, and that would be the process that you would take in order to successfully dissect the earthworm. All right, this is Mr. Lee again. This is how you dissect an earthworm. Pretty cool stuff. A great experience. So bring your best efforts forward. Good luck.